Hey, we're gonna go live again real soon.
I
You
really
can
wanted
find
to
it
see
somewhere
him.
too.
I was so
Help me
sad.
get through chemistry.
I know, he has no idea what he's done for me.
Well, he came to my class.
Alright, we're live.
So I don't have to.
Just let you know.
Alright.
But wait, before we answer that next question, we're gonna wait till Daria posts this thing. Yeah, we're just gonna link. In the meantime, do you have another Kane question for us, Sam?
Yeah. I agree. I should
I
be.
posted in Slack.
Thank you.
You have all mentioned your professor interactions, and that's such a huge part of why students choose a smaller school. I think you all can have pick out like one specific, like your favorite professor story.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's If any professor seeing this, don't.
I'll start on this one, I think. So I mentioned it earlier, but organic chemistry is a notoriously difficult class. The professor has office hours 3 days a week from 1 to 5, 6. In the
Professor, instead of normally having office hours in their office where maybe there's only 2 chairs and it's like a bunch of furniture and it's in the middle of some academic building, they have their office hours in an open space in the middle of campus that's like a huge kind of epicenter for all students out in the open, so everybody can join and be a part of it.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
it's awesome. Yeah, it's really convenient because we can go get food when we want it because it gets exhausting and your brain starts.
Time to chime. I love how we have so much women in our panel today with International Women's Month.
Women are the most campus leaders.
I believe it.
I believe it.
It's true.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You are great.
Wow.
I've been looking at his shows
What?
this entire time.
I thought you were a junior, low-key. But anyway, one of the only two there. There we go. Okay, one of the only two. That's a lot.
Who else? No, I'm curious to know what other guys have been touring.
Tim.
Okay, yes. Has Chris Bell been on touring?
Oh, he has actually, but is he still Oregon?
I shouldn't have been back. I was.
I trained him back in the day, actually.
Wow.
That was when,
Wait, is he not a senior?
I think it's
No, he is.
close.
That was when,
Alright, you guys are live again.
We're live. Alrighty.
Right,
Do you have a question for us?
We did.
Yeah, back to the admitted students. Did any of you guys go to admitted students day? If so, what made you decide that Albion was definitely the place for you?
I do remember going to Admitted Students Day. They did bring a lot of students from Chicago in Amtrak, and they paid for our ticket to come here, so that was like a very accessible way to come here, especially for those who don't have cars or who don't have someone to bring you here on campus. So they definitely made that very easy for us to come visit. And I just think it was like a really fun overnight experience. It was my first time staying overnight at a campus, so I really enjoyed that.
That's when I made my final decision, was at admitted students. I did the overnight, so I got to stay in a room with somebody who ended up being in my class the last semester, so that was kind of fun. I got to see her and tell her that she changed my path, and I ended up here, so that was great.
They flew me out from California, so that was a really big deal for me. Sat in some classes. I had a tour in the snow. First time I saw snow was here in Albion. And then I pop up in my first class at Albion, and the woman next to me says, I know you. And I'm like, no, you don't. And she's like, I think I remember you. I'm like, I'm a new student here. There's no way. She's like, I gave you your tour when you visited. And we became good friends. So, Albion advantage.
Oh, Chelsea?
I didn't come to Albion on an admitted students day, but when I first came here just for a regular tour, I really did not want to go at first. My mom was like, come on Emily, you have to go to this tour, I was like, I don't want to, I'd rather sit in class right now. She's like, you can miss school. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. And then I got here and I walked out of the car and I just felt so comfortable. My mom always makes fun of me now because she's like, you didn't even want to go here, now you love it. And I'm like, ugh. But yeah, just like instantly I just felt so comfortable and I felt like I could see myself growing here. Same.
Retweets.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wait, I just want to add to what Marco said about attending a class. I attended, they scheduled you for a class, so I attended a communications class. That made me want to be a comm major, like, cause I really liked the class, I really liked the professor, so who knows, you couldn't even decide your major when you go visit.
Awesome. I'll give you a little bit more of an in-depth idea of what our admitted student days entail and what your visit options are. We have Britain-bound days coming up this spring for admitted seniors. It includes a tour if you haven't had a tour yet on campus, especially for those of you who might be out of state and this is your first time on campus. We'll have a lot of different presentations on different parts of campus. That some will be student panels, much like this, some will be staff and faculty run, and then you'll also be able to sit in on a class, which was what Alondra mentioned, being able to sit in on an actual class because they are during the week, which is really nice. So it's not just like we're gonna pretend what class is like for you. It's you actually get to sit in on a real class with maybe one of these fine Brits. So you get lucky. Other visit options are also doing an individual visit. We schedule visits for students during the weekdays, during normal business hours. Lots of different variations that we can do. We totally customize your schedule to what it is that you want, whether it's a tour, lunch with a student, meeting with a faculty member, checking out the equestrian center because you don't even really know what that means. It's a horse barn, so if you're into horses, that's awesome to check out. But we can throw together whatever it is that that you hope to see on your individual schedules. But the visit days for admitted seniors are really where we have a lot more experiences because we bring so many people to campus at once. So those are your options, and both are super fun. And we had a good mix of students that did different things. So you should check it out.
Cool. Do you guys we're at about 2:53 right now, so we got about 7 more minutes for when we had a lot of time. Do you have any last minute bits of wisdom for people looking at schools this time of year?
Follow your gut, it will lead you correctly. Don't think pros and cons lists solve all, because that's a rabbit hole that I went down and it was confusing.
Yeah, I'd say just reach out to your peers, your parents, friends maybe, and kind of get a sense of what it's like. And obviously it's going to be different for everyone. Maybe Albion isn't the place for you, but I think definitely just getting a feel for what is. If you like smaller schools, then tour a bunch of small schools. If you like larger schools, it just kind of depends. So I think you kind of have to know what you're into and what environment you'll succeed in, and just roll with it.
Yeah, and keep an open mind too, because I know I was dead set on not going here, and then I came here and I loved it. For the longest time I wanted to go to Grand Valley because my dad went there, and then I went on their campus and I was like, I don't like it here. I just didn't like it. So just keep an open mind and try new things.
Yeah, definitely visit the campuses, if you can. Visit it because it's different once you get there. Kind of like Leah, I was looking at all big schools, obviously U of M, Michigan State, and being there on campus is much different than just hearing about it and talking about it. So
I would just say take a risk, find out what you're capable of, go outside your comfort zone. You'll really grow as a person, and you'll really open the doors to a whole new world of possibilities.
I think from my perspective, I work with students through this whole process. Every day it's my job to help you all out. So rely on your admission counselor. Don't be afraid to involve them in this process. You might have concerns and questions that we literally have just talked to another student about, or you might have an area of interest that matches perfectly with one of the students that we can connect you with. And like I mentioned before, I'm only so good at answering questions about student life and what to expect here, but I'm also going to be a really good resource for you to get you connected with a current student that can really clarify what that picture is going to look like for you, or a professor or a staff member that's going to help answer those questions more precisely. So just let us know what you need. We're here to help.
Yeah, another quick thing, I just
Oh,
thought
no,
of this
go
when you said that. Like, don't think that a question is a dumb question. Like,
Mhm.
you're gonna spend the next 4 years here. Like, ask it because it could make the difference.
For sure, for sure. Alrighty.
What are some things that you must absolutely have in your dorm?
Electric tea
I
kettle.
just answered this question to someone, but I'd say, yeah, an electric tea kettle is really a good idea because you can heat up like hot water for ramen and stuff. Like you're not allowed to have hot plates or anything like that, so an electric tea kettle is the way to go. What else did I say?
A fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fans.
That's, yeah.
Fans.
Like the good number is 2 because then you get 2 pointed and then you open the window and you got a really nice cross breeze going.
Nice.
Yes.
TV and a Keurig.
Mm.
Keurig, I need.
I did live without my TV my first, second, and third years of college though,
I
so only
love-
because like I could watch it on the computer.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
Netflix
I
on a
don't have
TV.
a computer, so I never use my TV.
Yeah.
It just, I kind of feel bad for it.
Game consoles, TV.
Something to not bring. Do not bring a microwave. I don't think you need one. There's microwaves in every single building. I know a lot of people bring microwaves, so
Speak to yourself.
Yeah, I do
I
have
like
a microwave and a fridge.
Too.
I do recommend a fridge, but like microwaves are just like if you have a, just gonna be microwaves. I just think it's like unnecessary. Like it's not like it's a must. That's what
Yeah.
I want to say. It's not a must because you can live. There's microwaves in every single building, so.
Yeah. I think too, like, don't overpack. At least my first
Yeah.
year, I like brought so much stuff. I was like, I never wore that. I never wore like so. Just really think about what you're gonna wear and try to
I'm
pack.
still trying not to overpack.
Yeah, me too.
Only
It's
live in
really you have to
Illinois.
get it down to a science.
Also, you can't have extension cords, but you can have power strips. So definitely bring a couple power strips.
And you can't have string lights either. So
A nightlight though.
yeah.
Cool, well, if you tuned in, thanks for tuning in. Come check us out, albion.edu/visit. Thank you, students, for being here.
Yay.
Appreciate
Watching
it.
you.
This is unseen, so check us out.
Bye.
Or like,